Hey everyone. Today is February 3rd, 2022, and we're um, talking a little bit about um, a few days ago there was the Australian Open final, and between Rafael Nadal and Daniil Medvedev. Uh, and I got a chance to watch that. It was like for me, it was like 2:30 in the morning until like 8 in the morning. Um, and yeah, but it was really exciting because it was I think Medvedev was like up two sets, um, and getting concerned. And I'm a big fan of Rafael Nadal. I've been watching his career since like 2004 or so when I was in Paris, and he was a new player and kind of swept the tournament and then just kept dominating the Roland Garros. Um, so it's like I remember like 2009, unfortunately seeing him lose the the French Open to Robin Söderling. Kind of getting I was hoping to see him win, but um, so this was kind of like I don't want to watch him lose in straight sets of um, in the Australian Open, but then somehow in the third set managed to kind of get get that set. In the fourth one, he managed to get that one, so then it tied, so it meant that they would go into a fifth tiebreak set, and then he managed to get that one, and then this was his 21st Grand Slam title, which then broke a tie between him, Roger Federer, and Novak Djokovic. So like it's just incredible the talent among those three players and the past these past like 17, 18 years. It's crazy to see their careers just keep going still, even though they're um, into their mid 30s, mid um, or even for Federer, he's um, my age, and so uh, reflecting on the final and getting into like the third set and going like, hey, if something doesn't come around, if something doesn't change, um, like that's a straight set loss. And reflecting on this for like language learning, sometimes it's we get discouraged, we feel like giving up, we don't necessarily see the immediate progress, or like I don't know, something's not working. We have to try something different. Um, but sometimes just giving up um, feels like the best option and shouldn't be. Um, and I've been there before. I'm very fortunate right now in the middle of this. It's a rough period in my life right now. Yet this challenge uh, still gives me a sense of language learning purpose and being able to share advice and being able to, if I can call it wisdom, if I can share that with other language learners and give people another perspective on things, not necessarily like a hype or you know, selling a dream. I just kind of want to shoot from my hip, kind of just straight talk, kind of I'm here too. I'm struggling with things. I have kids. I have got a busy teaching schedule. I'm very fortunate. For example, this week, about 29 hours or so of lessons and requests for teaching, and I appreciate uh, the um, the demand for the lessons and the confidence that students have in me to help them. Um, but there have been moments where I don't know, my confidence has been shaken and um, or kind of questioning things. And I would say before this challenge got launched, I had participated in two or three other ones, and I thought I had figured things out. I managed to go for about 100 days recording myself uh, with Russian, uh, but I went on vacation. I kind of came here, um, like I'm doing right now, and recording here. But then my teaching, online teaching, just like really took off. There was like a really high demand. And I remember being on vacation and balancing something like 10-hour days. That was just crazy. So I managed to get like 30 hours of lessons in 3 days, and then uh, trying to block off like Thursday, Friday, and say, hey, I'm not teaching. I'm gonna go take the kids and go to the beach, go to the zoo, go out, and just try to limit that schedule. But what that meant for my language learning, and also what that meant for a podcast, which at the time had been from about um, like March until August, and it was just 5 days a week, and going for um, yeah, it got up to about 100 episodes and several interviews and several reflections on language learning. Uh, but then kind of interrupting that after like 100 days and just a busy teaching schedule and not being able to juggle everything, I realized like I hadn't gotten it all figured out. I'm like, there's only 24 hours in the day. Uh, Something has to give. And so I wasn't organized enough or didn't have a system in place for blocking off time for certain things. And so, yeah, my confidence was shaken, and I kind of couldn't figure things out for a while. Um, it wasn't until I got like to about the around the time that I had joined this one challenge at the end of March, um, 2016, when I got to about a year later after that, and then I just like was like, this has been now, I mean, since August, it's been okay, like September, October, November, December, January, February, March. It's been like seven months of just kind of feeling frustrated and not really doing something, not really getting out of a rut. So that's when I, kind of, on a whim, launched the first 30-day challenge, and just taking the idea that what had helped me get the best results was speaking every day, recording myself, keeping track, keeping progress, just monitoring the progress through recordings, and somehow that resonated. That concept, that idea, resonated with a lot of different people, and it was also taking some inspiration from the um, the lessons I had with uh, TOEFL students I'm still teaching now, and these processes of like speaking and doing lots of speaking and encouraging people to kind of monitor their progress with that, and realizing that there was a lot of anxiety speaking to a microphone, not talking to a person. So I realized like people needed like some kind of a program to take advantage of that. And I also realized like the brainstorming process of what I'm going to come up with 15 seconds. It's just really stressful. So little by little, the emails were kind of 1 day, 2 days in advance of what are we going to talk about today, what are we going to talk about tomorrow. And then probably about a year ago or so, or a year and a half ago, there was a suggestion from one person like, hey, could we expand that to like 7 days? Because that would let me kind of get more vocabulary, get more structures, get more grammar, kind of to figure things out and plan ahead. And I said, hey, that's a great idea. And so yeah, we've got about like a week's worth of topics kind of moving forward. And so with the this kind of sense of being able to help other people kind of get out of a rut, or this mix of inspiration from the exam prep and recordings and what had helped me feel more fluent was this just doing something a little bit every day and not giving up and keeping it manageable, about like 5-10 minutes or longer, if depending on the topic. So uh, this helped me kind of get out of a rut. And we're here at the beginning of February, um, and by the end of March, this will be 5 years of this program, this community, and in terms of my own speaking practice, getting no longer like, hey, 10, I don't know, 100 days was a long time. Now I'm up past 600 days, and it certainly is a priority, a lifestyle choice, and it's something that I get a lot of value out of it. I've talked to other people who do journaling and kind of sharing their ideas, getting this out. The daily emails that I have been doing for 5 years now, it's also a way to reflect on lots of different things and find a silver lining on how can that be channeled into advice and motivation and inspiration. So I've been there. I know when it gets rough. I know when it gets hard, and that it's tempting to give up. But and one of these other streaks that I managed to get for like 6 months, I think 2018 or so, was just kind of questioning this tendency to fail and saying like, okay, well, let's fail at failing. So it's kind of a reverse psychology to somehow succeed. Um, that worked for a while, but again, it wasn't quite a manageable system because I was kind of recording separate videos, uploading them, editing them. It wasn't quite um, easy, simple to maintain. Now, what I'm doing with this is just one take, one recording. Don't stress about it too much. Don't over prepare, and just go and see what I can come up with. What do I say, and get the ball rolling. For example, right now in English, and realize like I do have a lot of thoughts on this topic, but I'm not going to cover all those exact same ideas. I'm going to basically paraphrase what I just said in English and just kind of touch on a couple main ideas in Spanish and French and German and Italian and Russian, and kind of realize like, I'm lacking certain vocabulary words, but trying to figure out like which ones can I express anyway. But doing something every day, just staying in the game, staying in motion is the best thing to do. When you don't feel like doing anything, it's really important to just do anything. Not nothing, but anything. Like if you're not like motivated to do anything and you kind of see the dishes in the sink kind of piling up, I mean, the worst thing to do is just nothing. Best thing to do is, I don't know, wash one dish. It's better than nothing. Um, it just, yeah. Or, yeah, I don't feel like taking a shower. And just, you know, wash your hands. Or start with something. Or just don't let it spiral out of control. And you never know. Like one thing can become two. It can reverse a trend, or at least not reverse it immediately, but it can at least put a pause on it. Kind of um, like if an airplane is starting to nosedive, um, one of the first things to do there is uh, stabilize it so it doesn't just keep going straight down, but at least stabilize it, and then from there, kind of go back up um, to reverse that. So maybe not a complete U-turn if you feel like giving up, but at least kind of stay in motion, do something. Uh, don't let one bad day become two bad days. Try to have, I mean, it's normal to have a bad day or have a, feel like, I can't. It's just, this is overwhelming or there's too much going on right now. I understand that, and it's completely predictable. It's completely normal to have those moments, but just a little bit, try to reduce the things. So instead of saying like, okay, I'm going to do an hour, try to 5 minutes or half of it, a half hour. Okay, if that's too much, okay, 15 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. Just try to get a little bit something and not just zero. It's kind of a missed opportunity. And I kind of noticed that with myself with music lately. I've been having a hard time finding motivation to be playing music, writing music, even though where I am, there's more and more instruments. There's a piano, there's a acoustic guitar that I have. There's a nylon string guitar. I have my electric bass. I have a violin. I have a alto saxophone. So it's not a lack of instruments. It's just you know, in a way, giving myself permission to enjoy music or not just you know be busy teaching and thinking about teaching and thinking of things, and so kind of just a mental break sometimes to play music and not just have the instruments kind of in their case and not take them out. But so I want to encourage myself more to kind of reserve time in a way that I reserve time for making these recordings every day. I just go ahead and record myself playing music. I don't know if that would be of um, value to kind of hold myself accountable for this. Like I did something, which is how I feel with the languages. And I realized like, okay, 600 days ago, I was a lot slower in German, a lot slower in Italian, and kind of really like, this is so rusty. And I do pick up the violin sometimes, and I realized like, I was writing some nice stuff and able to do some things 7 years ago before before my daughter was born, and but then, well, now they're older. They can handle themselves. They can keep themselves occupied. But I'm kind of in that rut. I was like, oh, I haven't practiced violin, so I'm rusty. So I don't. So I'm rusty, so I don't. And that just doesn't. It's not a valid excuse. So instead of just being at this kind of nothing stage and feeling rusty and then feeling guilty about rusty, kind of just reminds me of this one vignette in the Petit Prince where um, like the Little Prince where he meets a drunkard and there's a slow build up in the conversation which is like, hey, why do you drink? And he's like, I drink to forget. To forget what? To forget that I'm ashamed. Ashamed of what? Ashamed that I drink. And it's just this circular, like, wait, what? You drink to forget that you're ashamed that you drink. So you drink to forget that you're ashamed that you drink. So it's just this kind of circle that just it yeah that doesn't work. Um, and we kind of do that self kind of sabotage to ourselves where it's like, I'm just going to give up. Why? To forget. To forget what? That something's not working. Why isn't something working? I don't know. So it can kind of go in a circle as well. But um, like I haven't found a solution, so I'm going to give up. And why are you going to give it up? Well, I don't want to. I don't know. It's too hard, or I haven't found a solution. But stopping is just it's tempting. It's so tempting, but um, we really shouldn't. Um, there's always some hope. There's always something. Like we don't know what's out there. We have to keep trying and keep experimenting and just I don't know. Hope is around the corner. Just don't give up. Hola a todos. Ya son una grabación bastante largo. Um, Hoy es el día 4 en no, perdón, el 3, pues ya, no, México ya es 4. Em, Hoy estamos hablando un poco del final del tenis de la abierta de Australia y Nadal logró ganar en 5 sets contra Daniil Medvedev y Medvedev empezó por ganar los dos primeros sets, pero Nadal logró como um, tener el tercero, luego el cuarto, y eso llegó a ser como un quinto set. Y logró ganar eso, y eso significó que ganó 21 títulos, lo que es más que Federer y Djokovic. Y me acuerdo de como haber visto partidos de Nadal cuando surgió de la nada en Roland Garros en París. Yo creo que fue 2004. Um, y desde entonces soy muy fan um, y aprovecho de ese tema es que los momentos de como, bueno, él hubiera podido decir como, pues ya, ya para qué, ya perdió dos sets, ok. Pero él él no se rinde, no, él tiene una como disciplina, tiene una manera de ver las cosas de como, pues, quién sabe de los 5 sets, pero por lo menos puedo ganar este punto, puedo intentar ganar después del siguiente punto y ganar el juego. Y luego otro punto, otro punto, otro punto, otro juego. Y como va acumulando. Y al final de todo, pues el set pues, es a través de los puntos, los juegos. Pero hay por lo menos algo que se puede hacer hoy. Y me gusta mucho esa disciplina y esa... Unos pueden ver como algo muy, muy grande, pero a través de cositas constantes, regulares, eh, se gana el partido con eso. Y yo creo que con el aprendizaje de los idiomas, pues, si ganas hoy, es un gran logro. Y ganar la semana es a través de ganar los días y ganar el mes es a través de ganar la semana y ganar el día. Entonces, pues, el reto que organizo, pues, son 30 días, pero también he dicho a unas personas como que es un reto de un día que se repite 30 veces. Y es otra manera de ver como que todos los días tenemos una oportunidad de practicar, de hacer algo. Pero entiendo también que hay momentos en como perdimos un poco la motivación, no vemos los resultados, no vemos un cierto progreso, tenemos una idea de como, yo creo que para tener éxito significa esto, esto, esto. Tal vez tenemos que cambiar ese concepto de como, qué significa lograr. Y es como agradecer las cositas pequeñas, las cositas diarias y no rendirse. Podemos seguir, podemos hacer algo todos los días y yo creo que vale la pena. Es triste cuando veo que alguien dice como ya, chale, ya, ¿para qué? No vale nada, no vale la pena seguir. Eso es triste y yo creo que es importante hacer por lo menos algo para como, tal vez no es un retorno completo como, pero que no mantener para que no se empeore más. Tal vez no tenemos las ganas o la motivación, pero podemos como frenar un poco lo que pasa para poder mm, mm, seguir practicando. Am, y con este reto, pues he pasado por momentos en que me costaba trabajo practicar durante como 8 meses después de haber logrado como 100 días, pero no tenía un sistema que, que funcionaba muy bien y no había entendido ese concepto de un sistema, un esquema para ayudarme en lugar de como luchar, batallar contra el tiempo. pero ya como dejar de trabajar, yo creo que mm, no estoy de acuerdo con eso. Ya. Bonjour tout le monde, aujourd'hui c'est le jour 3 en février. On parle un peu de comment, hmm, voilà. Bah, il y a quelques jours, il y avait le final de l'Australie et Nadal a réussi à gagner en 5-7. Mais au début, ben, il avait perdu les deux premiers, les deux premiers sets. Et donc, dans le troisième, euh, il a réussi à gagner le troisième et puis le quatrième. Donc, ça voulait dire que ça allait dans un cinquième. Et il a réussi à gagner. Et puis, euh, c'était son titre numéro 21. Donc, c'est vraiment un titan du tennis et il a une certaine discipline euh, et euh, une manière de se concentrer sur les petites choses, pas forcément la grande, le jeu complet, mais de concentrer dans les petits, comment, des points qui s'accumulent pour devenir des jeux, et après ça, des sets, des sets. Euh, et après, avec ça, les matchs. Donc c'est en travaillant les points qu'on gagne euh, le match. Et je crois qu'avec ce défi, il y a des moments où c'est gagner le jour, gagner la semaine, gagner le mois, on gagne l'année. Et comme ça, ben, on a les opportunités tous les jours. Euh, c'est pas forcément en disant, OK, je vais gagner l'année. Et l'année, ça se gagne à partir des mois, à partir des semaines, à partir des jours, à partir des heures, à partir des minutes. Donc, il y a les opportunités tout le temps et, euh, et c'est dommage quand on se dit, bah, je vais arrêter. C'est pas la peine, je vois pas du progrès, j'ai pas réussi à trouver une solution, je suis pas motivé, j'arrive pas. Il y a toujours d'autres solutions. C'est- On sait jamais. Mais, euh, mais laisser tomber, c'est vraiment dommage. C'est vraiment dommage quand je vois ça. Et voilà. Hallo an alle, heute ist der dritte Tag in der Herausforderung und äh, einige Tag in der Wochenende ich habe Tennis geschaut und Nadal und Medvedev haben zusammen gespielt und es war 5 Sets, aber die zweite erste Sets Medvedev ähm, äh, hat sie gewonnen und dann Nadal hat no, besser gespielt für der dritte, der vierte und in die Ende die fünfte auch und es bedeutet, dass er hat 21 äh, Grand Slam Titles und ich sehe er seit vielleicht 18 Jahre jetzt, wenn er hat beginnt in Paris und es freut mich sehr und ich mag wie spielt er und wie denkt er und zum Beispiel wenn etwas funktioniert nicht sehr gut, er kann sehen, dass er muss etwas erklären für zum Beispiel ein Punkt, dann ein Game, Spiel und dann ein Set und dann Match und ich sehe mit die Herausforderung. Wir können etwas machen heute, diesen Tag, dann 7 Tage für die Woche und dann 4 Wochen für einen Monat und dann 12 Monaten für ein Jahr und das ist etwas klein jeden Tag und es funktioniert sehr gut. Ähm, und es ist sehr schade. Es tut mir leid, wenn sehe ich, dass jemand will nicht weiterhalten. Und man sagt, dass warum weiterhalte ich? Und ich denke, dass wir können etwas jeden Tag und dazu machen und es hilft. Es hilft sehr ähm, und etwas klein. Und ja, ich denke, das ist alle für heute. Ciao a tutti, oggi è il giorno 3. Parliamo un po' del tennis e, nel fine settimana ho visto il partito tennis di Australia con Nadal e Medvedev. Per cominciare il partito Nadal non ha, non ha cominciato molto bene, ha perduto 2 set, ehm, ma nel set numero 3 ha cominciato a fare una cosa differente e ha um, giocato meglio per to win il set 3. Questo è il 4 e per terminare il no, 5 e questo per lei è il titolo numero 21 e ho visto penso come 18 anni che gioca ha cominciato bueno ho cominciato a vedere Nadal um, in Paris in Parigi e mi è piaciuto molto come gioca, come pensa e per esempio di non vedere tutto il partito, ma poi fare una cosa, un punto dopo questo un gioco, game, set e ho partito E con la sfida penso che possiamo fare una cosa tutti i giorni, queste le settimane, le mesi, l'anno, e una cosa tutti i giorni aiuta moltissimo per continuare, non per terminare e dire che pues, perché continuo. Um, ho passato per momenti difficili e capisco che non sempre è facile ehm, volere continuare, ma possiamo fare una cosa piccola e aiuta. ehm, e penso che questo è tutto per oggi. Всем привет! Сегодня третий день в челлендже. И мы говорим немного о игре, игры в Австралии. Э, Несколько дней назад я посмотрел, когда Рафаэл Надал и Данил Медведев играли, поиграли вместе. И когда они начали, Медведев выиграл первый сет, после этого второй сет, но Надал выиграл третий сет, после этого четвертый, и, наконец, выиграл пятый сет. И это значит, что он выиграл Grand Slam title номер 21, и это лучше, чем Федерер и лучше, чем Джокович. И я начал смотреть Надал, думаю, что это было 2004 года, когда он играл в Париже, когда я жил там. Но когда он не играет очень хорошо, я вижу, что он делает что-нибудь, чтобы выиграет пункт, также игре, также сет и матч. И думаю, что в челлендже это так же, как делать что-нибудь каждый день, каждая неделя, каждый месяц и каждый год. И мы, когда мы продолжаем, это лучше, чем бросить. И думаю, что это к сожалению, когда я вижу, что кто-нибудь скажет, что он не хочет продолжать. Думаю, что мы можем делать что-нибудь каждый день. И это лучше, чем ничего. Так, это все на сегодня. Это почти 45 минут, что я говорил. Это все на сегодня. До завтра.